Only one team will be bringing home the Lombardi Trophy. And while certain teams certainly look strong on paper, every organization and every roster has a weakness.
What's Peter's weakness? He's gotta have a weakness.
Swamp monsters.
Swamp monsters, of course!
Mathematically speaking, all 32 NFL teams have a chance at winning the Super Bowl. But every club has at least one significant flaw or obstacle that will ruin their dreams of hoisting the Lombardi Trophy this season. Of course, we'll be wrong about one of the 32 teams on this list, but our other 31 predictions should be pretty accurate. With that being said, it's time to give you one obvious reason why your team will not win Super Bowl 56. Arizona Cardinals, state of the NFC West. It's gonna be difficult for the Cardinals to qualify for the postseason. The NFC West features two bona fide Super Bowl contenders in the Los Angeles Rams and San Francisco 49ers, plus the always dangerous Seattle Seahawks. A winning record might not even be enough to reach the postseason, let alone win a Super Bowl. Atlanta Falcons, they always blow it. The Falcons haven't lived down that miserable Super Bowl 51 collapse that saw them blow a 25-point second-half lead. This team has only made it back to the postseason once ever since. And in 2020, they were the kings of blowing leads. They blew a 20-point lead against the Dallas Cowboys last year and a 17-point lead against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and a 16-point lead against the Chicago Bears. Do you really trust these guys to just snap out of the funk and finish a big game for once? Baltimore Ravens, inconsistent passing game. In the playoffs, when defense adapt and force Lamar to throw the ball, it becomes a problem. Jackson hasn't yet shown that he can win a game with his arm when defenses take away the run. Also, not sure if he has the necessary receivers to lead a potent passing game. That's the Ravens' lone concern here. Buffalo Bills, the pass rush. Can't expect to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs when your pass rush isn't there. No Buffalo player reached 6 sacks last year, and they're banking on rookies Boogie Basham and Gregory Rousseau to fix the problem. The secondary is stout and the Josh Allen-led offense is a prolific one, but you can't expect to win a Super Bowl in today's NFL if you're not consistently generating pressure on the QB. Carolina Panthers, the defense. Even if Sam Darnold breaks out, you can't look at this Carolina defense as championship caliber. They have young cornerstones to build around in Jeremy Chin, Derek Brown, and J.C. Horn. But there are still issues in the secondary and at linebacker. It's still going to take some time for this young unit to morph into an elite one. Chicago Bears, Andy Dalton. No clue why Matt Nagy refuses to start the more talented Justin Fields over the past his prime veteran. The Bears are only stalling Fields' development, and Dalton just isn't that guy anymore. If Fields takes over as the starter and lives up to the sky-high expectations in year one, then who knows? Maybe we'll be wrong about this one. Cincinnati Bengals, the offensive line. The Bengals have Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, and a three-headed monster at receiver. But that only matters so much when your O-line is downright awful. Burrow was sacked 32 times in 10 games last year. Unless rookie Jackson Carman is NFL ready, and he doesn't look to be, Burrow will once again be stuck behind this incompetent group. Cleveland Browns. It's the Browns. They ended an 18-year playoff drought and won their first playoff game in 26 years. GM Andrew Berry added Troy Hill, John Johnson III, Jadeveon Clowney, and Gregory Newsome II to the Myles Garrett-led defense. So why can't these supremely talented, deep, and well-coached Browns win a Super Bowl? Well, the answer's pretty obvious. It's the Browns. Just ask their fans. This franchise cannot have nice things, even when they have all the pieces in place to win a Lombardi Trophy. Dallas Cowboys, holes in the defense. Dan Quinn replaces Mike Nolan as the DC. Rookie linebacker Micah Parsons and free agent pickups Keanu Neal and Malik Hooker should help. That said, there are still issues in the secondary, especially at safety. If DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith, and Leighton Vander Esch don't bounce back in 2021, it'll be hard for even the Cowboys' potent offense to mask the deficiencies of this defensive unit. Denver Broncos, the quarterbacks. Teddy Bridgewater should fare better than Drew Lock did last year. Thing is, Bridgewater is more of a game manager than a game changer. And you need a game changer to compete in the AFC West these days. With guys like Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert residing in the same division, do you really think the team led by Teddy Two Gloves is gonna emerge on top? Detroit Lions, they aren't trying to win. The Lions are essentially in tank mode. That's why new head coach Dan Campbell got a lucrative 6-year deal, and why the entire front office and coaching staff were overhauled. Detroit avoided making major splashes in free agency. They're clearly not planning to win much in 2021, or even 2022. Obviously, the goal is to get a high draft pick so they can get one of the top quarterback prospects, ideally Sam Howell or Spencer Rattler. The Green Bay Packers, playoff chokers. The Packers just always find a way to blow it in the big games. How do you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback and lose 4 straight NFC Championship games? It's hard to trust this team. They seemed poised for a trip to Super Bowl 55, only to make several mind-numbing mistakes against the Bucs. So why should this year be any different? Houston Texans, they're awful. The Texans only won 4 games last season, and that was with Deshaun Watson as their starting quarterback. Now that Watson is gone, how can you even expect this incredibly flawed team to win more than 3 games in 2021? It's Houston versus Detroit for the first overall pick in the 2021 draft. Indianapolis Colts, Carson Wentz's health concerns. Carson Wentz required foot surgery and may miss several weeks of action, or he may not miss any time at all. Point is, he has a long injury history, and this is probably not the last time we'll be seeing him on the injury report this year. It's bad enough that he's already dealing with something before playing a single game in a Colts jersey. And if this team is forced to turn to Jacob Eason or Sam Ehlinger, yikes. Jacksonville Jaguars, worst of first? No way. No team in NFL history has gone from the worst record one year to a Super Bowl championship in the next. Sure, there's a lot of excitement around first overall pick Trevor Lawrence and new head coach Urban Meyer, but this is a long-term rebuild in Duval County. Hence why the Jaguars didn't do much in free agency or in the trade market. This team should be happy with 6 wins, even though they have a generational QB prospect on their hands. Kansas City Chiefs, the defense. The O-line got most of the blame, but the Chiefs' defense did almost nothing right in their Super Bowl loss to the Bucs. Careless penalties, a lack of pass rush, and non-existent pass coverage were key factors in that blowout. The Chiefs also had the NFL's worst red zone defense last year. You know Patrick Mahomes and the offense will be firing on all cylinders. But will the D be able to do their part like they did in 2019 when they won Super Bowl 54? Or will it be another repeat of 2020 when they simply weren't good enough? Las Vegas Raiders, the secondary. Scoring points won't be a problem with Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs III, and Darren Waller, but the Raiders secondary leaves zero room for optimism regarding a potential Super Bowl run. The Raiders ranked 26th against the pass last season, and they finished 3rd last in scoring D. The front office is still waiting on Damon Arnett, Trayvon Mullen, and Jonathan Abram to develop. So, good luck with that. Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers gonna Chargers. Regardless of how talented the Chargers are in any given season, they always find a way to unravel at the worst possible time. Remember all those double-digit leads they blew last year? It's like the Falcons, folks. They just can't come through in the big moment when it matters most. Even if Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback, and even if the defense proves to be a championship caliber unit, this team is bound to screw it up somewhere along the way. We've just seen it way too many times already. Los Angeles Rams, running game concerns. The rushing game is the bread and butter of Sean McVay's offense. But top running back Cam Akers is out for the year after suffering a torn Achilles. Suddenly, one of the Rams' strengths has become their biggest weakness. They did pick up Sony Michel in a trade with the Patriots, and they still have Darrell Henderson, who impressed at times as a starter last season. But even with those two, this is still one of the weakest backfields in the NFL right now. Miami Dolphins, pass rush problems. The Dolphins had 41 sacks last season, but are we sure that Emmanuel Ogbah and Jerome Baker, who combined for 16 of them, will both build off career years? Shaq Lawson and Kyle Van Noy combined for 10 last season, but they're no longer around. Miami will need rookie Jalen Phillips to produce early and often, because as it stands, this front seven isn't going to be good enough to contain the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Nobody needs to be reminded about Cousins' horrific record against winning teams. 3 seasons in Minnesota has only yielded 1 playoff berth and a single postseason victory. Sorry, but Cousins just isn't the guy who wins you a Super Bowl. The individual stats are good, but that's it. Why do you think Minnie drafted Kellen Mond? They know that Cousins isn't their long-term answer. New England Patriots, lacking impact wideouts. The Patriots signed tight ends Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith and wideouts Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar to upgrade the pass-catching unit. Good moves, but you can't say any of these guys are true game changers. Aguilar has been up and down throughout his career, and Bourne has never really been anything more than a wide receiver 3. Jacoby Myers and N'Keal Harris don't exactly keep opposing defensive coordinators up at night either. The lack of a true playmaking wideout is by far the Patriots' biggest obstacle in their quest for a 7th Lombardi Trophy. New Orleans Saints. No more Drew Brees. The Saints offense figures to take a considerable step back without the all-time passing yards king. Even if he was past his prime last year, Brees was largely effective in a game manager-like role, and you don't replace his overall football IQ and leadership. It's going to take an MVP caliber year from Jameis Winston to lead the Saints to a title this season. And we think it's a little too early to hold out hope for that. New York Giants, Daniel Jones. The Giants have a stingy defense and a deep group of skill position guys. Problem is, the quarterback remains a question mark. Daniel Jones has 22 picks and 29 fumbles in 27 career games. Will he finally cut back on the turnovers? If not, this team won't even sniff the postseason, let alone come close to a championship. New York Jets, still rebuilding. Not much to explain here. A rookie quarterback and a first-year head coach in Robert Saleh with a brand new coaching staff. The Jets didn't hire Saleh to win now. They know this is a long-term rebuilding project. Even if Zach Wilson dazzles and if this young defense makes some strides, it won't be enough to contend this year. 2023 is a more realistic timeline for the Jets Super Bowl window to officially open. Philadelphia Eagles. It's not 2017 anymore. The Eagles fired Doug Peterson and traded Carson Wentz. They moved on from Jason Peters, Alshon Jeffrey, and Jalen Mills. Also, defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz resigned. So, most of the key pieces from that 2017 championship team are long gone. It's a rebuilding period now with Jalen Hurts and rookie head coach Nick Sirianni. Not much more we can really say here. Pittsburgh Steelers, Big Ben is old. Roethlisberger is undoubtedly bound for the Hall of Fame, but he's near the end of the line here. His aging and injury-prone body is faded. He's extremely limited as a passer now. Opposing defensive coordinators know that he struggles to throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field nowadays. The Steelers' passing game just isn't that scary anymore. Roethlisberger is overly reliant on the short, quick throws that defenses can easily exploit. San Francisco 49ers, worst QB in the NFC West. No doubt the 49ers are a top team to beat in the NFC. That said, you have to be a bit concerned about their QB situation compared to their NFC West foes. Jimmy Garoppolo is not anywhere close to Pro Bowl level like Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, or Matthew Stafford. And if they start rookie Trey Lance over Garoppolo, we're still not fully sold on the rookie carrying this team all the way to the Super Bowl. That's no easy task for an NFL freshman, folks. Seattle Seahawks, an awful secondary. The Seahawks ranked just 15th in scoring D, and only the Falcons surrendered more passing yards last season. You cannot expect to go on a deep run with this secondary. One that could be even worse following the departure of Shaquille Griffin. Doesn't matter how good Russell Wilson and the offense perform, you won't win a Super Bowl by giving up nearly 300 passing yards per game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nobody repeats anymore. The Bucs won't sneak up on anyone this time around. And being the defending champions and all, regression is clearly inevitable. Oh, and it's only been 17 years since the last Super Bowl repeat. History tells us the Bucs will not win the Super Bowl next year. That's all. Tennessee Titans, no pass rush. The Titans recorded just 19 sacks last year. Overpaying Bud Dupree is not gonna single-handedly fix it. This team just doesn't have the playmakers in the front seven to slow down top-notch offenses. And the weak pass rush has made it easy for opposing QBs to pick apart the Titans' lackluster secondary. Can't just rely on Derrick Henry and the offense to outscore all those problems. Washington football team. Who's their QB? Well, is it Ryan Fitzpatrick, the guy who will get hot for a few games, then lose his mojo and see the bench? Is it career backup Kyle Allen? Or is it Taylor Heineke, who's only started 2 games in his career? The defense is a top-notch unit and all. They've got several playmakers on offense, namely Terry McLaurin. It's just, this quarterback room isn't going to win you a championship. Plain and simple. But who do you think will win Super Bowl 56? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.